problem number 10. What's your question? So, for problem number 10, Frankie has asked.
So there are three after the decimal place there are three, and I counted 3 times and I got it.
So, Frankie is a case in point, ladies and gentlemen. This would be where Frankie, I don't know why when Frankie is adding, he's counting decimal places. But if I were Frankie for problem number 10, I would write down, because it's going to be the same type of thing, you need to line up the decimals and not count the decimals. Because it's adding decimals, not multiplying decimals. In addition to that, maybe you want to remind yourself that 12 doesn't have a decimal in it, so you put decimals at ends of whole numbers. You know, these are things that you should recognize that you don't get. So Frankie, let's just do this since you asked. If I'm doing this problem, it's 3.7 plus 12 plus 4.31. And you can always add zeros at the end to make things line up nicely. You get 1, 0, decimal point, 7, 8, 9, 10. Is it 20.01? 16, 19, I hope. So there is your answer. Just as a way for you to remind yourself what you seem to do wrong or right, or maybe you just want to put a smiley face. I'm probably not whatever, just because you're happy to see it. Sam. 18? I love. And again, maybe this, I know I've never said this before, Sam, but what's the first thing you should do in problem number 18? And did you? Which problem did you use?
6 minus 2 is 9.
Is what?
4.
And you actually used that one on your paper? Because I didn't see you actually look at it, you just kind of told me one. Anyway, Sam, that's good, neither here nor there. So, if I did not know, see I'm missing the middle, I'm not missing the first one, I'm missing the second one. If I didn't know that was a 2, what do I do with 6 and 4 to get 2? And did you?
Oh, yeah.
So you took 6 1/3 and subtracted 3 from it. And since there's no fraction here, nothing from 1/3 is 1/3. And 3 from 6 is 3.
I made it complicated. I did 3, crossed out, made it 2, and then made 3/3, so I could subtract.
Well, but then you just made a fraction that you couldn't subtract from this, which you'd have to borrow from this, and then you get an improper fraction. But in the end, if you did that, you still should have gotten 2 4/3, which would have simplified actually 3 1/3. Yeah. So Sam,
I just made it complicated.
yes. So maybe this would be a place for problem number 18. You'd say, don't make it complicated. Problem. You do not have to change this. This is like having 0/3. You could put that in there, and then your subtraction would be easy. But the answer was 3 1/3. Okay. Max.
2.
Just one at a time, sir.
Okay, so for actually no, I just have one. So for, I don't know how to do.
We should talk. We should have a long discussion, Max, about how many problems you actually want to ask a question about. You said 2. You thought 1. No, which one is it?
Just
Problem number 8, ladies and gentlemen. Probably my favorite question of all time. And I'll see what it is before I come on. All right, yeah, this is a good one here. Sales tax rate is 8%. What is the total price of the items, including the tax? You have to do this, and this would be the note I leave myself. My thing costs $12.95. I have to add whatever the tax is to it, and that's going to give me my answer because they want the total price. So if you just found the tax, that's part of doing the problem, but you have to add that tax to what you started with. Okay? And then this has so many places where you could write notes. The next thing I'd write myself is tax is always multiplication. And maybe you got that. And then the next thing I'd write a note is this. 8% changes to what decimal? 0.08. Sometimes people just make it 0.8. That's 80% tax, and nobody wants to pay 80% tax. But if Bernie Sanders becomes president, you might end up paying tax with universal health care forgiveness. I'm sorry, this is not political. Who knows? Maybe Bernie Sanders won't do that. I'm just kidding. Maybe he did.
I don't want to.
Is this a question about what I'm doing? Because I'm not even halfway through this problem yet. Yes, sir.
So when we do notes, like say for problem 19, are we allowed to like draw like just even put how many verses so we remember like?
You just write what the vertices are. I can't guarantee it's going to be a cube. Maybe it's going to be something else. I don't know. Sure, if you want. So let's do this. Max, you asked this problem. So I need to take 12.95 and multiply it by 0.08. Okay, and again, in your mind, ladies and gentlemen, you should have some idea how much would be outrageous tax. You know, first of all, if you paid 50% tax, which you're not, that would be like $6. So you know it's got to be less than $6. If you get a number bigger than $6, you know you went way out. You know. If it was 10% tax, it'd be $1.29 because it just. But let's do what it is. So we should have some idea. 8 times 5 is 40. Carry the 4. 72 plus 4 is 76. 16 plus 7 is 23. Carry the 2. 8 plus 2 is 10. Where does my decimal go? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, Frankie. Here's where I count decimal places, one multiplication. 1, 2, 3, 4. So my choice is this, boys and girls, another place to write note to yourself. Your choice, either you're paying $1.03 in tax or $1.04 in tax. How do I know which one it is? You look at the number that's, I see this is $1, this is a dimes, this is pennies. This is actually the number you look at. If this number is bigger than 5, greater than 5, I have to add 1 to it because that's more than 1/2 cent. 1/2 cent is exactly a 5 there. 5 out of 10, whatever it is. So this, if you miss by a penny, it's because you did not round up. It's $1.04 in tax, not $1.03. If this would have been a 4, though, I would have only kept that $1.03, so you have to watch out and make sure. So now I take my $12.95, I add my $1.04 to it, and I end up with, and all of this, ladies and gentlemen, would all be saved if the government would say, let's get rid of pennies. Because a penny costs us more to make. Well, you couldn't, you can't get rid of taxes. You would have nothing count. You have to, the government has to provide for your safety. Now, you know the fairest way to do taxes, because your parents pay what's called income tax, like they have a job and they complain when they get their paycheck because the government takes so much. The fairest way we should really do taxes, this is what Bernie Sanders should say, is all sales tax. Because you pay tax when you buy things, you pay tax when you make money, you pay all this tax. If you only paid tax when you bought things, you could control how much tax you pay because you don't have to buy things. You're forced into giving your check payment from your check. So in essence, it would actually tax the people who have more money because they're buying nicer things and would pay more sales tax than everybody else. But they don't have to buy that. It's their choice to buy the yacht for $10 billion and they pay $100 million in tax. That's their choice. But as it is now, you don't have a choice to pay. Wow, how about that? This is getting awful political. How many people are watching the Democratic debate tonight?
I saw.
Are you really?
Yeah.
What?
My grandma's at my house.
So you watch it? So throw the debate in. Why not? Peyton, you have a question?
Number 9.
Lucky number 9. Or unlucky if you got it wrong, I suppose. Peyton, what did you get for an answer?
$5.40.
Okay, now, you have to understand this is 6 cents, not 60 cents is what you must have made it. Okay, $6 is $6. How do you write 6 cents as a decimal? It's 0.06. So when you subtract it, 6 cents is actually not 0.6, which is 60 cents, it's 0.06. It's 6/100ths of a dollar, 6 in the hundredths place. So when you do that subtraction, you end up with $5.94. Does that make sense? 6 cents tax, not 60 cents. So far, this has been very exciting. Invigorating, enlightening, enchanting. Any other words that start with E?
Enormous.
It has to be an
Extravagant.
exotic, yes, that's it. Frankie, which question?
What is number 3?
What was it? Number 3 was, what test is this? 3 was 1/3 and 2/3. Is that your question, Kelly?
What?
What was number 3? You had your hand up.
Oh, I said elephant.
Elephant would not be an adjective. This class is an adjective. Exciting,
Elephant class.
excruciatingly painful. Jacob?
Can you tell me how I got number 12 wrong?
I will show you how you got number 12. You got it right. Now here again is Frankie's full question here, okay? There's a difference between multiplying decimals and adding decimals. When you multiply decimals, the phrase that pays is you count decimal places. And going into this problem, Jacob, right away, I know in my answer I will have 4 digits after the decimal. Okay? Now it just so happens that as I do this problem, you know, these do actually line up, but they won't in my answer, because my answer I'm going to count back 4 places. 7 times 8 is, wait, did you do it that way, or did you do 27 times 18?
I put
27 on top or bottom?
0.18.
That's fine.
Sorry.
Times what, 0.27? Which, these zeros aren't going to make any difference one way or another, but if you want, I'll do it that way. 7 times 8 is 56. Carry the 5. 7 times 1, 7 plus 5 is 12. Carry the 1, 7 times 0 plus 1, 2. Start second place over has to start with a 0, always. 2 times 8 is 16. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 0 is 0. That ain't going to make any difference. Add those together, I get 6. 8, 3, and if you want a 0 there. And no, there have to be 4 places, 2 there and 2 there. 1, 2, 3, 4. 0.0, 3, 8, 6. Or 386 10,000ths, I believe, there. Where'd you go wrong, sir?
I think they just like added the things.
And it doesn't hurt you on tomorrow's test to actually do the problems twice. Simple adding and multiplication mistakes are a frequent cause of great consternation amongst many individuals. Rich?
I don't get how I got number 4 wrong.
El número cuatro. That's Spanish. Let's look at number 4. What is the probability that it will stop on an even number? So for letter A, you got letter A wrong? Rach?
That's number 4.
Oh, I'm sorry. What am I thinking? I did hear 4. All right. Did you draw a big circle
Yes.
and label its diameter with 42 feet?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I believe we actually talked about this problem yesterday. Did we not? I remember this. They asked you for a ratio. And note to self, what is a ratio? A ratio is a fraction. Ratio equals fraction. And how do I make my fraction? I put the circle's radius on top, and I put its diameter on the bottom. That's the fraction I'm looking for. What is, well, I'm given the diameter, it's 42 feet. If its diameter is 42 feet, what is its radius? Radius.
I got 21.
Very good. Now, if you got 21 over 42, you are in good shape. You just need to make sure you reduce it.
Oh, that's what I did.
Divide them both by, well, we could go by 7, and you'll get 3 over 6, but then you can divide them both by 3, and you'll get 1 over 2. You sure we didn't have this problem? Did we just talk about this problem?
Yeah.
I mean, I just remember it. Now, granted, I've taught, this was my 25th year of this teaching. Oh yeah, Andrew had asked this question. A math assignment, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Came up on yesterday's assignment. How about that? Nobody, division of primes, Jordan Shaw, why'd you only get 2 2s instead of 3 2s? Nothing, 0, zip, zilch, you sure? I'm here for you, mi casa, tu casa. I don't want anybody to go to bed hungry tonight. Wait, no, I'm sorry. I don't want anybody to go to bed hungry mathematically. Hunger. Great.
I don't get how I got
Number
number 7 wrong.
7. Can I ask how you tried number 7?
I drew a little circle, so I put understated.
Yeah, and see, have we been drawing circles? Have we been comparing by drawing? That's the problem. You're a good example here, Rach, of in 5th grade and maybe the beginning of this, yes, we drew things. But the problem when you draw things is you're only as good as a drawer you are. In other words, if you didn't make the circles or the rectangles the exact right same size, and if you didn't cut the pieces into the exact even pieces, you're gonna struggle with it. What you need to do for this is pretend like you're adding these fractions together and make common denominators. Or do we do it a different way? Have we talked about doing it a different way? You want me to give you the easiest way to do this?
Yes.
Point blank, the easiest way to do this, and this you're gonna write notes to yourself, is to multiply the diagonals bottom to top. That won't mean anything till you actually see an example. And I will show you. I am comparing 3/5 to 2/3. Watch this. Best things in sliced bread. I go bottom to top and multiply. What is 5 times 2? 10. And I write it up here. I go bottom to top. What is 3 times 3? 9. And you can compare those two numbers. 10 is bigger than 9. This will always be the case. And the reason for that is this. If you have 3/5 and 2/3 and you're making them common denominators, what's my common denominator? 15. 3 times 5 is 15. 2 times 5 is 10, right? Guess what I got up here? 5 times 2 was? How do I make 5 15? I multiply by 3. 3 times 3 is? Guess what I got up here? And what's bigger? 10 15ths is bigger than 9 15ths. So multiply bottom, and it has to be bottom to top, because if you go the other way, you'll get it wrong. If you go top to bottom, you'll get a 10 here and a 9 there, and you'll be completely backwards. That's a handy dandy little math trick brought to you by, well, who knows? Max.
So for number 8, so she shows I rated 3/5 to 2/3 and you put 15 as the bottom. Did that always work, or is that just?
Wait, which one? Does this always work, or does this always work?
Yeah, that
This always works, as does this. They both always work. This is just a shorter version of doing this. Same exact thing. Oh, wait. Frank.
For the notes, if we like watch one of your videos, can we write down the notes on this?
Yeah, you can change notes. I mean, you can write down notes from the video. I don't know what you mean. Is this in some way cheating?
No, like when you videotape them, and if we watch them to study, can we write
Write
it
down
down?
whatever notes you want. I'll take the initiative there. Ellie?
I don't get how I got number
21? 20?
Yeah.
Well, they are just telling you to do this. They say take 3 3/4, make it an improper fraction, and multiply it by 1/6. So how do you make 3 3/4 an improper fraction? Dost thou remember? Ellie? And this would, if you don't, this would be a great place again to use the notes. Whole number times the 4, which is 12. Add to that the top, 12 plus 3 is 15. Keep the same bottom number. And I am going to multiply that by 1/6. And how do I multiply? I just multiply across. 15 times 1, 4 times 6. And as always, people, you must check to see if you can simplify, which is reduce. 3 goes into both of these. get 5 8 5 8.
So we could use the like study guide in pretest, right?
No, I said you cannot use your pretest or the answers to your pretest. Whatever you have to have has to be like Trevor's got right there, where he's got it in the real boxes. I figure if I'm gonna let you use notes, you have to at least take the,
Yeah, that's what I meant to know.
yeah, if you're writing notes, yeah. Well, notes to self. This is what I wrote. Other ones, nothing about vertices or cubes. What else did we do? Nobody on adding fractions. Nobody on subtracting decimals. Or dividing decimals. Or going to a whole different screen. Is that even this problem? Is that this? Is this you too? Alright, fifth grade. Is this you? Yes. 40 is composite division of prime. Frankie!
5.
You want me to tell you what the shape is? What's it asking for 5? What quadrilateral is not a parallelogram? I suppose the notes I would write for myself, they could ask you anything, but what is a parallelogram? 2 sets of parallel sides. And this one is not a parallelogram because this side and this side are not parallel. These are, and these are.
I get this one.
I am sure you want anything. Going once, twice, 3 times a maybe.